Today we're going to be making karaage. Karaage is, if you don't know, it's like a Japanese fried chicken. We are a ramen based company, so we are going to be making ramen as well, but we're going to have karaage as one of the toppings with a tonkotsu broth today. For the soup base, we're making tantan men. Tantan men derives from Szechuan in China, so it's a spicier version of tonkotsu. So we're going to get started with the cutting side of things. So we're going to be cutting some garlic, some ginger, and then of course the chicken. So with ginger, the way you want to do is peel off the skin using a spoon. It's a lot easier, a lot faster, and you'll get around the lumps as well instead of wasting too much of the ginger. After that, we just want to dice it as finely as we can. You really don't want to use a garlic crusher, a mincer. You know the liquid that comes out when you're using a garlic crusher? That stuff has all the chemicals that gives off the flavour. Okay, this is where we want to add the salt. So just give it a little sprinkling of salt. After that, garlic is the next thing we have to do. So we've got chicken thighs here today. Whenever you're doing anything with like a marinade, it's always best to use chicken thigh. The chicken's a lot more tender, it tends to absorb a lot more of the flavour in that respect. So traditionally, typically, that's what we use with karaage, yeah? The size of karaage typically is around this kind of size, yeah, I'd say. For a normal karaage, if you went to a restaurant, you want about half that size, so about like that. Just roughly about an inch. When you cut it, have the skin on the bottom. You want about an inch. It doesn't really matter about the kind of cut that you're making. It's more just making sure that the same size is the most important part. So roughly about half of that. This is about a third. Okay, so these are the wet ingredients here. This is soy sauce. There's two types of soy sauce in this one. There's light soy sauce and dark soy sauce, yeah? The brand is Yamasa, just so you know. This one is mirin, which is like a sweeter version of sake. It's less alcohol content, more sweetness to it. Because I think there's enough saltiness from the soy sauce. That's why we always add a little bit of mirin, just to balance it out. This one over here is sake. This tenderizes the meat. And don't use cooking sake as well if you can. Always use normal sake in that respect, or drinking sake, I should say. And this is sesame oil, and then we've got the 2 eggs. Okay, you want to start off with the sake. Try and mix the sake in first as well, because this is the tenderizing agent. And then you can go with all the other wet ingredients first. This is the soy sauce. Really give this a good mix in. And then you want to add your ginger, your garlic, and then your pepper. While waiting for the marinade, I made some ramen noodles from scratch. Alright, sweet. We're going to make the karaage side of things now. We're actually going to be frying the karaage. I've preheated it to a certain degree. You want about 160. So we'll just quickly see how much it is. Okay, it's about 125 now, so we'll let it warm up a little bit. Whilst we're waiting for that, you want to get rid of your excess liquid. And then we're going to add our cornstarch, yeah? So it's about a kilo chicken, so this is about 70 grams worth. Okay, and we're going to be using cooking chopsticks just to put it in. This should be roughly just coming over 160 degrees Celsius now. So I'm just going to turn it down a little bit. And what you want to do is start from one end. If you start from one end, you'll know which side to flip it over from. Try to do this part as quickly as you can, just so that you know that the cooking times are the same-ish across the board, yeah? We're going to cook this about 2.5 minutes. Once it gets to the halfway mark, 1 minute and 30, that's when we're going to start flipping it. And remember, we're going to start flipping it from the back end. So we've done this for about 3 minutes altogether. So it should be nice and technically cooked through by now. Spread them out. Also, turn your heat up. You want to get this about 200, 220 degrees. This part here, my mum told me how to do this. You take out your chicken between the breaks and you want to push it with a ladle very, very gently. And she always used to say this tenderizes the meat. Yeah, I don't know whether that is quite the case. I've never looked into the science of it, but I've always done this. Okay, so ideally you want to let this rest for about 2 or 3 minutes. We're going to refry it 30 seconds to a minute. Just keep an eye on it and keep it in movement. Can you hear it's bubbling a lot more so now, yeah? Okay, we need to quickly make the eggs. I've got an ice bath here. We're going to dip the eggs out once that timer goes off, and that will stop the cooking process, and that should be just about soft boiled, just the right amount for ramen eggs. Ramen eggs, just as a heads up, normally it would take 24 to 48 hours just for the marination side of things, so we're not doing proper ramen eggs in that respect. These are the noodles that we made earlier. I like mine hard. When it's this, roughly this kind of thinness, I should say. If I want it hard, this will probably be about like 40 seconds. It'll be long enough. It can range anywhere between like 30 seconds all the way up to like 3 minutes, just depending on what kind of toughness that you want to have. So thickness and how hard you want it to be. Now, noodles go in. 45 seconds. With the noodles, we want to stir it in a circular manner. And the most important part is to bring out the noodles for as long as the noodles are, yeah? Can you see them unclumping like this? You need to do it so that people can actually slap their noodles in that respect, yeah? So I'm going to emulsify the soup a bit more, just to make sure it's white when it comes out, yeah? We're going to get our eggs, the time's gone off. It's only about 15 seconds since then, so it should be okay. Come over to the ice and dip them out of the ice, yeah? You want 3 minutes at a minimum when it comes to cooling it down. That's how we know it'll be fully done, yeah? That time was the ramen noodles, so get your bowl, make sure it's close to you. We'll bring it out of the baskets, rest it against the sides, and then you see how my thumb is now on the inside, yeah? Chopsticks at the bottom, and the chopsticks are just like the bridge, and we put them down just like that. After that, we just want to make it a little bed. You want to get as much as you can, using the water to kind of straighten out and make a bed with the actual noodles, yeah? Now we got a plate. Order chicken first, but you got the bed, right? So you want to aim for the bed of noodles and try and have a little bit coming out so that you can show off the noodles, yeah? Narutomaki, we'll have one. It's just a popper cutter. Narutomaki is fish cake, just so you know. Then we're going to have just a little bit on the side here. And then we got our chili oil. This is homemade. It's called jigoku dare, which is a hell sauce in Japanese. And then the nori is the very last thing. So you want to put it just behind the chicken, just like that. And then you can serve your customer.
Itadakimasu.